Mariah Carey is speaking out, at least her team is speaking out about what they say was potential sabotage on her New Year's Eve performance. So by now you probably are familiar with what happened on Mariah Carey's New Year's Eve performance. Basically, it seemed like there was some issue with the monitor, some issue with the lip syncing. We're not exactly sure, but basically her team is saying that the technical difficulties she faced were actually a deliberate sabotage by Dick Clark Productions intended to drum up ratings. So her manager, Stella Buloknev.
Yeah, good luck with that one. I saw that and I was like, nope.
Here we go. Stella
Bolochnikov.
Right, that one.
Stella Bolochnikov.
Thank you. Says, you know, her inner ears were not working and your entire production team did not set her up to win. And basically she was writing this to the company that produced the Mariah Carey's special, which was broadcast live on ABC. If you haven't checked out yet, please, you should watch this because this story is probably not going to make any sense. And then she goes on to say, and this is in all caps, they kept ignoring her. She took a hit honoring her commitment to you. I should have pulled her off the stage. This is sabotage. And it even goes on, and this is according to Page 6. She says, once things went wrong, they took the decision to keep rolling and make her look like a train wreck for ratings. They owe her a public apology. Now, Dick Clark Productions, the company responsible for putting on the show, actually says that this is defamation, that these accusations are defamatory and absolutely untrue. And another little tidbit that I dug up, Hasan, was that according to a source that commented to The Telegraph, Mariah Carey was the only performer that night that did not rehearse. Instead, Mariah Carey used a stand-in while, Gloria Estefan, actually did rehearse, and other performers actually were on stage rehearsing, doing their run-through, but Mariah Carey allegedly did not do that. So it's sort of a messy back and forth from both sides. You have Mariah Carey's manager is really throwing Dick Clark Productions under the bus, and Dick Clark Productions is like, why would we do that? We've had one of the most successful New Year's Eve shows of all time.
But technically, they're saying that because Mariah Carey was a train wreck.
So do you think there's a conspiracy here?
But there's always a conspiracy. And plus, by the way, can I just mention that I love that you pulled a source. Like, I love it when entertainment journalists or entertainment publications are like, a source close to the matter told us.
Here's
it's
what
like,
happened.
What?
A source commented, so all these facts were
It is actually good information, though.
Right.
It is really good extra information.
So the main bulk of this we got from Jezebel, and then I was doing a little extra digging, and I got some stuff from The Telegraph, and that was who they said a source commented to them.
Because you deserve the truth.
You deserve the truth, and the truth is always speculative.
So let's get down, let's get into it. Let's get into the facts, right? We have Mariah Carey, who's a pretty big diva, let's be honest, right? She doesn't rehearse, according to the source. And then there's also technical difficulties on Dick Clark's end. And do they take advantage of it because they're one of the most experienced, best television production companies on the planet, which is why they were doing ABC's massive ratings, New Year's show live to begin with. Yeah, no, 100%. I think that it was a combination of both. I think that there was definitely fault on Mariah Carey's end, 100%, for not rehearsing, for not being able to pull through. And then there was definitely a little bit of sneaky, okay, well, this is messed up, but we have to make the most of it. We're freaking Dick Clark Productions, man, going on their end where they would just like roll with it.
So
this is great television. 2017, this is going to be a good year for Dick Clark.
Well, Dick Clark is dead.
No, I know. I meant like the company in general.
Okay, I was gonna
not like, oh, Dick sitting in the corner.
So there are a couple things I think about this. When after the initial performance happened, and it was really trending quite quickly, as you might imagine, Mariah Carey commented basically saying, here's to making more headlines in 2017, no big deal, because we all know that she is, she is a performer that comes once in a lifetime. She has an amazing voice, and she has done so many amazing live performances. There's no question that she can sing, right? Maybe her voice isn't what it used to be. You could argue that.
Jason is going to execute you for saying anything that's even like a little negative towards Mariah.
I'm not saying anything negative about her, because actually I really think that she handled whatever sort of malfunction, confusion was happening pretty cool. Like, she was really cool about it. She was making a lot of jokes, which I thought was funny, where when emotion comes on, and it was basically, when you watch the performance, you'll know, it was basically just a karaoke track, and so there was no singing at all. There wasn't even her, when she did We Belong Together, she was just singing over the album version, and she even says, she's like, oh, this is the album version, you guys can sing along. But for Emotions, there's no singing. It's just, the dancers are just dancing to like a 90s beat, and she's like, you guys, you know the words, and she's just like walking around the stage. I think she rolled with it really well. The only things that I thought were a little obvious, where maybe she didn't rehearse, where there were a couple times when her dancers were trying to pick her, were like indicated they were going to pick her up, and she was just like, no, and so then they just had to like walk alongside her and like just keep dancing. But I think she went with it really well. I don't think her manager needed to make these remarks, because I think Mariah recovered well enough on Twitter.
I think that the management team did this on purpose because, again, there's a lot of fault on Mariah's end for not completing her due diligence and rehearsing. And I mean, she's getting paid a lot of money to do this. This is her main job. Mm-hmm. If a plumber comes into your house and is like, yeah, sorry, I couldn't fix your sink. Also, I took shit in your bathroom and your bathroom's also clogged now. You're not like, oh, cool, I'm just gonna still pay you. No, like and obviously, like, this is her sole job, is to perform on this date. Mm-hmm. So when she didn't fulfill her duties, her promises, I think that this sort of like, oh, we all kind of benefited from this because it made headlines and like gained more traction on social media, wasn't going to be enough. I think this is her management team kind of being like, we're actually still angry, but like, seriously, like, oh my God. I'm glad that it worked out in the end of the day. We're so mad at you, Dick Clark, but like, please, like, still pay us, and also sorry.
Right. I think you make I think you make a good point, Haas, because I also read some other feedback where someone was saying, look, her audio wasn't where it needed to be, her monitor wasn't working. However, she still has functioning ears, so she should have at least, I think what people are upset with is that she
No, that's difficult though. Honestly, not, come on, you know this too, you use the microphone, like you're a comedian.
Professional though.
I know, but when you're trying to hit those notes, I mean, you need to hear yourself in a different way. Like, it's not like you can't just go up there. It's not a karaoke bar where you're like, la, like.
I totally agree with you. I think that people were disappointed that she very blatantly didn't even make an effort. She didn't even try and then say, you know what, monitor isn't working, not gonna go. It was like, once the monitor wasn't working, someone who's been in the game at the top of her game for so long, she didn't even try. And also, she didn't even commit to the lip sync at the end of the performance. She's holding the We Belong Together, and then it's that really long note at the end, and she just like puts the mic down and is just dancing, which I think is kind of makes the performance even more legendary to me. I want to be really clear. I think that there is, you know, maybe it was a downer for some people, but I think this is still great and worthy in its own right, because she rolled with it in the way that only Mariah Carey can. And I think that you are also right. Probably her management team is trying to save face and leaked this, you know, maybe a little bit intentionally, because I like the analogy, you know, she was paid to do a job. She very obviously did not do that job.
No.
Even though she wasn't set up for success, she didn't even really try to do the job.
I know. She didn't, I mean, it's not, if she had tried a little bit harder, at least then if the management team was like, Mariah put everything out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? A woman with such a celebrated career was made a fool of.
She didn't even commit to the dancing.
She was just like, whatever, I'm Mariah Carey, bitch. Like.
All right, guys, we want to hear from you in the comment section below. What did you think about this New Year's Eve performance? You think yay, nay, great in its own right? What do you think about her management team's response? Is there some sabotage going on? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and Hasan and I will see you next time on Pop Trigger.